I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. I think you should think about what you want to do. Super weird. I'm not the person to ask about that.
Hello to Päivikki Alaräihä. Did I say it right?
Yeah, it sounded really good.
Thank you. So today's visit is in Päivikki studio in Helsinki. And you're a Helsinki-based artist.
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, I do mainly painting and installation art.
Right behind us at the moment is a future installation that will be shown soon. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna get to that. But before that, who are you? How did you even become an artist? And what's your background and your path up to this point? Like, do you have other artists in your family?
No, I don't have any artists in my family, even though my mom does do some painting, but as a hobby. When I was young, I had no idea what I want to do. I thought about wanting to do something maybe creative, and I ended up studying textile design. And and that is what I did for 4 years, and only after that I decided to pursue art and visual art.
And that was a bachelor degree, or was it a high school?
That was bachelor degree.
Where did you study?
The textile design. That was Seinäjoki Polytechnic. So.
Are you from Seinäjoki?
No, I applied there because when I was finishing high school, I had no idea what I'm going to do, and then I thought about just doing a gap year and thinking about what would I like to do. But then I had some friends who were applying to different kinds of artsy schools, and they told me that there's this one school which has like later application dates, and that school was the Seinäjoki Polytechnic. And so that was the only school that I had at that point a chance to apply to, so I did, and I got in, and there I went. Yeah.
Schools should take example of this, and sometimes it's good to have a bit longer period to apply.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people are deciding where to study like I did. Like, I wouldn't recommend that to anyone. I think you should think about what you want to do. And
but I mean, when you're in high school, it's very difficult.
Yeah, it is.
I had no idea when I was finishing high school.
Yeah.
I studied Greek philology for 2 years before applying to the academy.
Okay.
Because I was so clueless exactly what I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, yeah. And then from textile, how did you end up in painting?
Well, when I was studying that textile design, I did some exchange studies, and that was in art school. So, because it was an art school, they were concentrating so much more in art and not the design part. So when I was doing those studies, then I realized that I am so much more interested in art than design. That is like one thing that got me into art, really.
Was that somewhere abroad?
Yeah, it was in Australia.
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's a nice exchange program.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah,
And maybe the installation art came somehow in relation to the textile, or did it actually?
I'm not sure if installation has really that much to do with the textile thing, but of course I wondered at times that if my work has some kind of something in common with that, with my textile studies, it might have something to do with the colors, because that was like important for me when I was doing those textile design studies also, and colors are important nowadays too. So
I feel almost obliged to explain the situation with your hand and to thank you again for agreeing to do this in this moment, because you recently broke your wrist. So I'm pretty sure it's not easy at the moment to just do stuff.
yeah.
So yeah. Just hope it will be fine sooner.
Yeah, it gets easier every day, so that it's good. Yeah.
You're preparing for this exhibition now, but you said that thankfully you don't have that much left physically to do.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah. I'm really lucky, because usually if I'm preparing for exhibition, usually I have a lot to do the weeks before the exhibition opens, but so this is like very rare for me that I don't have that much to do. But I guess in a way,
good timing.
I'm lucky.
Yeah. When is the exhibition? Where is it?
It's going to be in Studio Mältinranta in Tampere, and the opening is the 1st of March.
And this episode is going to come shortly before that, so for anybody who would possibly want to go and see it, they're very welcome to see it, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
This is the main thing you're working on at the moment, right? Or are you working on something else as well right now?
Well, right now this is the main thing, yeah. But I've been starting a little bit doing my next project that I'm having this exhibition in Helsinki in 1 year. That's in TN Gallery.
Nice.
Painters Union Gallery.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you have a year, which is pretty generous amount of time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And because this project was done pretty much like earlier, so I had some time to start the new one also, and do the two things at the same time, like a little bit, not too much, but a little bit.
I hope these sounds from the outside are not too penetrating in the video. There is a renovation going on quite nearby. But yeah, anyway, if somebody hears them, that's what it is. About this exhibition in Tampere, do you want to maybe briefly tell me what it's about? And I mean, I don't know how much we want to share beforehand, but just maybe a little teaser.
Yeah, of course. Well, the exhibition is it's a little bit different that I've done earlier. This exhibition is about history of this exhibition place, and it's also about my own history.
So you're connecting the installation with the history of the space somehow?
Yeah. I am kind of trying to show this exhibition space with its own history in a sense. So I am going to bring some artifacts from my own history to this gallery space. So the building is an old water treatment plant, and it was built in the beginning of 1930s, and those objects that I'm bringing into this exhibition are from the same time period, and I have collected those objects from the place where I grew up. So I grew up in a farm, and there's been like many generations before me.
On a farm, that must have been something. Have you had some time like just doing some work on the farm when you were a kid, or your parents were sparing you from that? Or was it no more an active farm, or is it still a farm?
It's not active anymore. Yeah, my parents have been retired for quite a long time for now. But when I was a kid, we used to do some helping on the farm. Not too much, but in the summer, I remember we used to help collect the hay from the fields.
I'm just imagining what it's like to be living on a farm in Finland in this winter type of situation. That must be tough.
Yeah. In a way, yeah, there are like some difficulties. When you are a child, then you don't really understand your surroundings that well and how it's different compared to everywhere else.
Yeah, that is true. I've never lived in a house, for example. I've only been in apartments all my life. So that's why like just this more rural living for me is very curious, just because I've never had it.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was about the exhibition and not about the being on a farm.
Generally. No. Yeah. There's like 3 objects that I'm using: weather vane and old saw and this rake also. And this rake is something that I've always also used when I was a kid, when we were doing the hay in the field.
Is it this object that is coming from the wall?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a broken one, so it has this sharp end.
Assumingly it should go further, it should be longer.
Yeah.
The stick.
Yeah. But that's the thing with these objects, that they are old and rusty and not in their best shape anymore. This
is very interesting, because I met you when I had this screening in Forum Box. You had an exhibition there, and I don't think you had these ready-made objects in your work back then.
No. Well, this is the first time that I've done anything like this, so it's new for me too.
Was it that space that provoked you to go in that direction, or something else?
I think it all started during the pandemic, because when that was going on, I spent a lot of time at my parents' place and on that place that used to be a farm.
Yeah.
And I guess I was somehow affected by that, spending so much more time there than I've ever used to do as a grown-up. So I think I just started to see that place differently and maybe think about it differently, and I started just to have some ideas how to maybe deal with this kind of like past and history and changing your views with things when you are seeing them in a new light, maybe.
Yeah, interesting. You never know where it's gonna come from.
Yeah, it is.
What are usually the themes in your work? In your previous projects? What were they about?
Well, usually I am doing this kind of site-specific exhibitions. So I'm trying to create this kind of work that is dealing with the space where the works are exhibited, and also I'm trying to have the viewer kind of see the space in a different light and see like these different connections between the works and between the space. And usually my work is very abstract, so there are not really like anything, this kind of, well, ready-made objects or something. Now the installation that I'm doing for this new exhibition, it's going to be shelter kind of structure. It's going to be a scale model that is showing this kind of future plan for this shelter kind of structure. So in this exhibition, it's not only about the history, it's also about the possible plan for the future. The objects are going to be presented in this sähkötaulu. I don't know.
Electrical something?
Electric board, like on the wall there's this.
The box that it connects the.
Yeah, there's this photograph on the wall. You can see.
Yes.
There's this. It's like really big one. This electric.
What's that called in English? Electric board, is it?
Switchboard.
Switchboard?
Yeah,
okay.
Switchboard it is.
Okay.
So the objects are kind of coming part of this switchboard.
You have very professionally created a proper 3D model of the space and yeah, I mean, I'm sure that not everybody does for every exhibition this detailed of a model. But it's generally good to have, I think.
Yeah.
Just to visualize the exhibition, how it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and for me, I think it's a really important tool to have. I think that might be my favorite part of planning the exhibition is when I start to do it, and part of it is the building this scale model of the exhibition place. And I feel like by building that I can get this sense of the proportions of the exhibition place and also see maybe that kind of things that I don't necessarily usually see when I'm visiting this place.
And especially if you have a site-specific object or installation or something there. You could plan it a lot better if you have the space in front of you. Yeah,
it's really important, I think. And also like this is just like a sketch with these papers. It might be a lot different when I'm doing the installation in the gallery.
Have you tried doing a 3D model with some software to do that, or?
I did that once. That was in school, but I've never thought about doing that like after that, because I feel like it's very different when you can do it by hand and you have the actual space in a small size with you. It's very different when having it on screen.
For sure. So you do enjoy the handiness of the handmade element.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm using textiles to make this pulp for the paper. Like this is a pulp that is dried, and this is made out of this painting that the fabric that I use for painting. I am maybe using it later to make paper again.
So it's important to have some sort of reusing of materials for you.
Yeah, that is one thing that I am thinking about, and that is one thing what I like about doing this paper is that it is more environmental friendly than maybe some other stuff. I remember the first time that I started exploring like if I could do it was at my studio 2018 maybe, and then I did some tests but it didn't work out really. Then I just decided later on to do those tests with the paper again. It is just such a nice material. The way I'm using it's like very rough, the surface. And also maybe I was interested in it because I saw this possibility that it could be at the same time 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional object. Do you have like some kind of interest in paper or?
Yeah, you could say that maybe. I mean, I'm not really doing paper by myself, but I like paper. And at the moment I'm actually making these drawings on paper. Is there some other theme or topic or that you are kind of exploring with your work?
I guess the main thing in my work is the site specificity and the relationships between the viewers and the space and the works. But of course I have these other points in my work also. But I guess it is all connected to this idea, like how are we perceiving space and things in it. But also when I'm doing this individual pieces, there are like always some ideas that they are not just only site specific, but they also have some other idea in them too. And a lot of the paintings I've been doing, for example, have this kind of basically they are very kind of minimalistic. Then there are not that many details. So, for example, I can have like painting that has like 2 colors in them, and it's about how the colors have the borderline in between them and how they are interacting with one another. What happens in those kind of paintings is that because when the colors have the same amount of light, I don't know how to say it in English, like the lightness is same, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I do. When they have the same intensity of the color.
I don't know, because I don't know if the intensity is it to do with the hue or like maybe the best way to describe it would be like that either one of those colors is not lighter or darker than the other. if that makes sense. So when the colors are like that, the border between them starts to like move a little bit, like a flickering or something in your eye, like, you know. Because the eyes can't really separate the
it's too subtle for the eye.
Yeah, it's too subtle for the eyes to see how the colors are different from one another. Yeah.
Almost op art type of. I mean, it's of course different because you're not pursuing specific type of an illusion or something there.
No, it's not about illusion, but it's about the
reality,
effect.
Actually.
Yeah, reality, and how we are perceiving things, like colors. Yeah.
How we perceive things is very interesting for me also. What I've seen from your work, it's so subtle, like the colors themselves are very, very not loud.
Yeah, usually I use a lot of that kind of like light colors and soft colors, but also I've been doing like some stronger.
I guess in your next exhibition in the TM gallery you will have something more painterly, or is it just a wrong assumption there?
Well,
or is it too early to say at this point?
It's too early to say, but I've been having, of course, some plans and ideas about that, and it could go either way. I could really focus on the painting part in my practice, or I might go to total opposite way, but
we'll see.
I'm not sure.
We'll see.
Yeah.
When is it? Is it in the spring sometime there, or?
No, it's in February.
February.
Yeah.
Okay. So exactly a year from now.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you generally sustain your practice? Do you, for example, sell works to be able to be an artist, or do you rely on the grants, or do you have other type of work?
Well, sometimes I do sell my works, and that helps, but I've been lucky enough to get grants these past years, so that's been like the main source of income for me.
Do you involve other people in your projects, like friends or colleagues, or do you have collaborations, or do you work alone?
Yeah, I do involve people, even though I'm not doing really like collaborative work, but I think it's really important to have other people affecting your work. At least it's important for me to check my ideas and how things are working, and also I'm very aware of the fact that I am trying to do this work also for other people than for myself.
So you involve people mostly through conversation, or do you have other ways? How do you do it?
Yeah, usually I have studio visits with my friends. Yeah, that's maybe the main thing.
So you just decide, now I need some opinion, and invite somebody and they give you the opinion.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. But I think my partner is like the most frequent visitor for me. Yeah, and he's been influencing my work a lot, and he's also done some writing for me.
Is he an artist as well, or?
No, he's doing research like in sociology, but he does have this art background, so yeah, he knows what to do and what to say.
Yeah, it's interesting that you're now the second person who says that the people who are close by, like the friends or family, are the ones who influence you the most. My previous guest, Miradona Sirka, she also said that her friends are her biggest influence on the work. And I personally haven't thought about this before.
Yeah.
Of course, it makes sense if you start thinking about it a bit more, but
yeah.
Because maybe somehow there is this idea generally that some famous artist would be an influence for you or whatever. I do usually always ask people also about that towards the end of the talk, but it doesn't have to be. Like it's, I guess, in some cases it's just the people around you.
Yeah. And I guess it's also, it might be that they are this influence, but also it's like I'm getting influenced by things that I'm researching in a way around me. But then when I'm in contact with people and talking about my work, then I think it might be a bit different thing happening there, but the influence in a way. But of course I am influenced by my friends and my spouse.
So would you say that a sort of a community of peers around you is important also, or is it just separate specific people, or do you need a community?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question, because I've never thought about it like that. Because I've been thinking about how it is important to have people around you, but I guess it might be that I see it in a way, this kind of loose community, sort of, like, because I have my studio just for me. There's no one else working in this same space. All the people that I'm connected with, they are somewhere else, and I don't see them daily necessarily. At least not when I don't talk about my work with them daily.
Do you have some specific ways of how your work goes? Do you work at one project at a time? Do you work on several? Or you said now they kind of overlapped with like the previous one and the next. But
yeah.
How does it usually go?
Well, usually I'm just concentrating on one project at a time. Yeah, so.
And is there some set of routines of how you do things?
Yeah, I guess so, because usually I always start to think about the space where I'm going to exhibit the works. So that is always the starting point for my work. I always have some ideas with the space. And
so it's really important to have a space to exhibit.
Yeah, it is. It is crucial if you are doing something site-specific, then what can you do if there's no space?
Have you always exhibited in a gallery space, or have you done something in another type of location?
Yeah, I guess it's always been in a gallery or a museum. But yeah.
Have you done any public art?
No, I haven't done.
Would you do a public art piece if there would be a chance?
Yeah, I think so. I've been interested in that, but I guess I've been just busy doing these exhibitions, so I haven't had like that much time to think about those public artworks.
And when you have a project you work on, do you first conceptualize the whole project and then do it, or does it happen together, like when you do stuff and then ideas come from that doing?
Well, usually it starts like I have to gather like maybe a couple of ideas, and then I start to develop them and start to do the sketches and some kind of like, in some cases, some kind of like models, and doing all this practical stuff like trying out materials and things. So from that on, then I start to think about the larger concept of the exhibition.
I would imagine that coming from this textile background, it very much helps when you deal with different materials.
I guess we did study the material side of the textile a lot when I was studying that textile design, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's if my work is that connected with that kind of
maybe somehow I connected, because you have these different papers, or I assume they're handmade.
Yeah, they are. They look like
they
it.
look like it. Yes, which somehow is similar in my mind to a piece of textile.
Yeah. Of course, there is some similarity in the way they look. Of course, yeah, I can see it. But maybe like the whole practice, how you make paper, is
it's not the same.
It's very different, like from how to make a textile. Yeah.
Have you ever found yourself in a creative block?
I guess there might be like this kind of like small blocks at times, but I don't remember having anything like a major block or something like that. But of course there are some difficulties sometimes to get things going on, and yeah.
What do you think provokes that for you? What it's been the reason for
the blocks?
Yeah.
Well, I guess usually it's when I have to start making something out of kind of out of nothing. If I feel like I don't have anything in my mind already, then I might feel that kind of block, like I don't know what to do, how to get things started.
Is this the same as that, like fear of the blank paper page or something?
It might have something to do with that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And how do you overcome them when something like that happens?
Well, then I just start to do something, find something interesting.
Where do you find something interesting?
Well, I guess of course there's always something interesting there, but the problem is really that I'm not sure if I'm if those things are the things that I want to be working on with. So what helps in that situation is that I just have to like think about different things and do some research, and then I might also go back a little bit and think about what I was interested in earlier, like what the work I was doing earlier and what was important for me. So maybe that kind of checking helps me, like just to get this sort of like idea and understanding in general. Like,
do you come to the studio every day or most days to work? How important is to be regular here? Or does it more depend on the project you're working on at the moment?
I think it's important for me to come here like regularly, and I usually come here from Monday to Friday.
How long have you been in this specific studio?
Maybe like 5 years or so, something like that.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
How big is this space, more or less?
It's 20 square meters.
20.
Yeah.
And if you stay 5 years in it, it's probably fine for you.
Yeah, it's all right, I guess. Of course, I could use a little bit more space, because sometimes I do work that is really big, so this space isn't really big enough for some of my work. But
you do have high ceilings, which is good.
Yeah, that's nice.
What would you say is the most important part of the studio for you?
Most important part.
Element. Something of that sort.
Well,
aspect.
Yeah, I think, well, it's important for me that I can concentrate, so that's why it's important that there's not too much noise around me, so that's good. And also light is important, and
many windows. Yeah. So you don't share your studio with others, you're just by yourself here?
Yeah.
Do you store your work here, or do you have a different like storage space or something?
I have some storage space at my home, but I don't have any other storage places.
How important is for an artist to have a studio, in your opinion?
Well, I guess it depends on the artist.
I mean, for you, how important is it for you?
For me, it's like, well, it's really important. I'm doing these objects that need to have some kind of space where I can do them. So I can't imagine like not having a studio.
Have you always had one after your studies?
Yeah.
That's nice. Have you shared with other people studio before?
Yeah. After I finished my bachelor degree, then after that I did share a studio like for 2 years.
And how was that? Does it work for you as well to share, or would you rather not?
It was all right. I don't think I had any problems with it, but it might have been because a lot of the people who shared that studio with me, they weren't really around. They were like doing different things. So I still had like a lot of time just to by myself to concentrate my own work. But it was really nice when the people came in just to have them around, and that's like should be like Christmas light, but I just hang it like that if I want to have like some small light in here and not use the lighting from the ceiling.
Something like completely unrelated to that. Have you used like social media somehow for your art? Is it important to have that presence?
I haven't used social media really. Like I joined Instagram last December.
Whoa.
Was it?
Okay, that says it all.
Yeah.
But why did you join it?
Well, I guess I was curious to see like how could I use it, and could I like use it in some meaningful way, like just to like maybe have like an understanding what's going on.
And how has it been so far?
I haven't been using it like a lot, but I've been checking it regularly, and I've only done one post at this point. So I guess I'm still kind of figuring it out, like how I'm going to use it, and if not, probably I will just use it in some like minimal way, I think.
Take your time, no rush.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you go to exhibitions a lot?
Well, I try to, and I wish I could see more exhibitions that I have time to, but I think it's important to see exhibitions. Since I'm doing exhibitions, it's really important to see what other people are doing, and
Yeah. Where do you usually go when you go?
Well, usually museum exhibitions sometimes, and then I go maybe to see like Sinne gallery and SIK, and there are also like other galleries like Gallery Anhava and Helsinki Contemporary and Oksasenkatu 11, and what are there? Well, different places. There are other places too, but
Is it weird to say Oksasenkatu 11?
it's super weird.
Could you pause there for a moment?
Yeah. Because is there some kind of English name for that gallery? I have no idea.
No, it's like Oksasenkatu 11.
Yeah, it sounds super weird. But that's
so
fine.
for you, it's just Oksasenkatu 11. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. How the thinking changes if you say it in another language, the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Are there specific artists that you follow their work? Obviously not through social media.
Well, I still use the internet. So basically the same things are in the social media and on the internet somewhere else. Websites. I've noticed this, that it works like that.
I think it does. I think it does. No, it's just I think social media just makes it easier and faster.
Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, what artists do you check their websites?
Well, there are several of them. Rebecca Quaitman has been important for me, and then there's Sarah Rapson and Trisha Donnelly. Thea Diorjatse, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Diorjatse, maybe.
I would not know how to write her name, but I would ask you that separately.
Yeah.
Because on the website of the podcast, I collect these names.
Okay.
People who inspired other people.
Yeah.
And I write them there in a list.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would ask you afterwards. about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted. Yes, if there's somebody else.
Yeah, there are many of them, but I don't know how big list do we want to have here. There were some names already there, but
it's all right. If just with these names, and if you think about something else, you can tell me later.
Yeah,
you can just add it there.
Yeah, but of course, I should mention that I have colleagues and friends that inspire me too, like in here Helsinki. I guess those are the people that I follow through the internet, and then are these Helsinki-based people that I see their exhibitions and stuff. And
What would be some other places of inspiration for you, apart from the gallery space?
Any place can be like possible for that kind of influence or inspiration.
Just the world as a whole?
Yeah, maybe visiting like different kinds of places, like all these public places. They all have like maybe different kind of atmosphere in them. And then I also like to visit like historic places, maybe like churches. They have this really nice atmosphere sometimes, and really interesting lighting, for example, and different things. But I guess it's important to see just different kinds of places. It's not just the one type of place that could be interesting.
Yeah, do you travel a lot? How important is traveling for an artist?
I'm not the person to ask about that, but
it just came to my mind when you said different types of places.
Yeah, because I don't really travel that much, but and if it's important for artists,
I guess not if you don't do it that much.
Well, yeah.
Or would you want to do it more?
I think I would like to do it more, but it's not, I guess, possible for the environmental reasons only, like travel that much.
I mean, there are many ways you could travel.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And not necessarily too far away.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's something that I've been doing and wanting to do. That's just to visit places nearby me and just don't have to go that far.
Yeah. Finland is pretty large by itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, happy ystävänpäivä, because today is actually the 14th, the Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day for whoever celebrates that.
Yeah. Hyvää ystävänpäivää.